Let's turn to another significant story from today, and these new guidelines that the Sentencing Council have issued to judges. They have called on judges to consider a criminal's ethnicity before deciding their punishment. The Justice Secretary, Shabana Mahmood, has threatened to overrule the Sentencing Council today by changing the law. She has said a pre-sentence report can be instrumental in assisting courts in the determination of their sentence, but the access to one should not be determined by an offender's ethnicity, culture or religion. The changes which are being proposed by the Sentencing Council would detail that a pre-sentence report would usually be necessary before handing out punishment for someone of an ethnic, cultural or faith minority, alongside other groups such as young adults aged 18 to 25, women and pregnant women. The Justice Secretary, Shabana Mahmood, threatening to overrule the Sentencing Council by changing the law, expressing a lot of concern, unhappiness at these new guidelines that the Sentencing Council has given to judges. Let's speak to Liam Kotrie, a legal commentator and director of Mary Monson Solicitors, who's joining us on LBC News. Thank you for your time tonight. What do you make of these guidelines and the furore that they have created today?
Good evening. I think we've got to ask ourselves whether this is a storm in a teacup. Telling sentencing tribunals what to take into account should always be approached with caution. Their training, experience, you hope all of this will come into account and make sure they make the right decisions. And the guidelines are important, but let's not guide every single decision that they make. However, despite this guidance, and guidance even in sentencing guidelines, telling them that people from ethnic minorities and different parts of society suffer different outcomes to, for example, white men, there is still a huge discrepancy between the way that these people are being treated. Study after study, report after report shows that. So something has to happen. Something, unfortunately, needs to be taken out of their hands. We've heard Robert Jenrick doing the rounds today, telling the press that there is no evidence of it. But again, so many studies, and one would hope that the Shadow Justice Secretary know more about the criminal justice system. That these statistics are readily available. There is a two-tier system that they've been talking about, but I'm afraid it's the other way around from the way Shabana Mahmood, Keir Starmer, and Robert Jenrick have been describing today.
There is a key principle of the legal system, isn't it, that everybody is equal under the law. Does this kind of chip away at that a bit?
Well, unfortunately not. It's actually the opposite, respectfully. The problem is that ethnic minorities, for example, are not equal under the law as it currently stands. So to get that pendulum swinging the other direction, these guidelines have to be put in place. And we're not talking about changing sentences. We're talking about probation reports, pre-sentence reports being made for these people to look into their situation, and situations that are often overlooked by the rest of society. And I'm not saying that there are disenfranchised white communities in this country. There definitely are, and something needs to be done there as well. But more so in ethnic groups. And this is something that needs to be fixed so everyone faces the same justice.
Do you think, sort of moving away from the legal aspects of this, I mean, there is a political dimension to this, isn't there? Are you concerned that this could be misconstrued by certain commentators, certain elements of society, and people might get the wrong end of the stick slightly?
Sorry, I'm not sure what you mean.
Well, it's just in terms of, you know, we do have a bit of a febrile sort of society, don't we, at the moment? We saw, you know, with the rioting last summer.
Okay.
It just along those lines, are you concerned about a possible impact of this by people not fully understanding what you've been trying to explain?
Well, I'm concerned that politicians are trying to score points rather than really looking at the real problems in the criminal justice system. The damage done by successive governments over the last 20 or so years is probably irreparable. There are so many victims who don't get justice because of our crumbling system. And now people are trying to score political points rather than looking at the real problems in society and in the criminal justice system. So I think there is real concern that that these kinds of ideas will spread into society and give many people the wrong idea. Yes, I very much am.
Liam Kotrie, thank you for joining us tonight. Director of Mary Monson Solicitors, legal commentator.